welcome to episode 503 of Good Luck High Five.
That's right. You're listening to a podcast that's for you if you play Magic the Gathering. Whether you are super excited about some of the special events coming to Arena, or you're like, hey, heading over to my LGS to try and find some Commander, we are here for you.
I'm one of your hosts, Maria.
I'm another one of your hosts, Megan.
And on today's show, we are going to dive deep into the data.
Ooh.
Data on Dominaria United Limited.
That's right. If, like me, you've just been throwing gems into a void, this is going to hopefully help you recoup some of those losses.
Yeah, we find our data episodes for every set are really informative and help us play better after we get into it because...
Absolutely.
You know what? Don't lie. The data.
Nothing like some cold, hard facts
Some
about what you
cold,
should
hard science.
and should not be playing in the format.
Yeah, and we're going to help you too because if you want to check out the play-in, the qualifier we can play in this Friday, it's going to be best of 3 Dominaria United sealed. So you can go into that event having a lot more ammunition in your belt as far as fact bullets go.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to just destroy that format.
A weird and extended and kind of gruesome metaphor.
Well, I've got Warhammer on the brain, you know.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
They just announced a bunch of stuff with the Warhammer 40k Commander decks.
Yeah, you can find out more about that over on our news podcast,
Yes.
The Upkeep, which is only 10 minutes or less every Monday. All the Magic news you need.
Yeah, so we updated you there, and I'm still just feeling like I'm in an ongoing war in the world of the grim dark. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, you live in America, so in a way, you are in a land of never-ending war.
So true.
Woof. Anyways, before we get started, we have some people to thank. First and foremost amongst them are you, the listeners and patrons of this show. Thank you especially to Arno and to David for becoming patrons in this past week.
Thank you, Arno and David.
Thank you both so much for becoming part of the Good Luck High Five family. If you want a personalized shout out, all you got to do is become a patron or up your pledge.
Yes, and when you become a patron, you get access to our super cool Discord server that has the best people in Magic. I firmly believe that. Hanging out, and you can talk anything you want about Magic. It's just a great place with great people. And you support creators that you use and that you love in your everyday life, which we think is really important too, to keeping our little ecosystem growing. You know, you wouldn't not water your plant.
That's right. Consider watering your plants. Become a patron today.
We're your plants.
We're plants.
If you're a plant, what plant would you be, Megan?
Ooh.
Like a house plant situation.
Yeah.
So you can't pick tree.
I would be a ZZ plant.
What do those ones look like?
They're like, they kind of go like this.
Megan, for the listeners, just did a hand motion which describes almost every plant.
Basically everything that ever had. Like multiple things can be described by that hand motion. Okay, it kind of has like these like it's like long green like you know,
it's got long green leaves.
And long green leaves that are shiny and pointy. It's dark green, kind of pointy leaves. I don't know. It's a cool looking plant, man. I don't know what to tell you. Maria, what kind of plant are you?
I would be a succulent of some variety.
All right. Describe a succulent, Maria.
It's small and fat and has lots of puff in it.
All right.
It's all
fair
puffed
enough.
up.
You're doing a much better job than I was.
It save itself for, you know, for the
I'm just
dry
asking
season.
You, how am I supposed to describe this?
Also, I never drink water.
True. Look, right? I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah, that just looks like a classic plant.
It's just a real classic plant.
So, you know, water us and a ZZ plant and a succulent, if you would, please. Patreon.com/GLHF Magic.
Thank you as well to our sponsor, Card Kingdom, cardkingdom.com/GLHF, the best place to get all of the singles and all of the booster boxes and all of the accessories you need for your magical life.
Dominaria United is available now to buy from Card Kingdom if you want singles, if you want a box to play some sealed with your friends. You can also pre-order those Warhammer decks that we talked about.
Ooh, if you, like Maria, have Warhammer on the brain.
I do. You can
there
pre-order that.
If you're feeling especially aggro, go on over there.
Go on over there. They're previewing cards from those decks all through this week. So if you're into Warhammer and that kind of stuff, you can check that out online. Daily MTG has a list of when cards are going to be previewed. Unfinity, the unset, is also available to pre-order over on Card Kingdom.
So exciting. Finally going to be here after a lot of delays thanks to supply chain issues. So exciting.
Yeah, Unfinity. We love unsets. If you love like playing silly stuff with your friends, it can't be topped.
It is
it
the
truly can't be
way
topped.
to do it.
We also have a preview card from Unfinity coming up on the 25th of this month. So that's like so close.
So close.
So I'm like super excited.
Go pre-order stuff.
Go pre-order stuff. cardkingdom.com/GLHF.
All right, Maria, it is time for the randomizer,
Yay!
where we show each other a little art crop from Scryfall's Randomizer and try and guess the card.
Okay.
Okay, here you
first?
go,
All right.
buddy. Tell us, Maria, tell us what you see here.
Okay, what is this? This is a wave of hands.
Do you know what? That is probably the best way to describe what's happening here.
It just looks like an ocean wave, but it's made of hands and arms and bodies, to be fair, probably connected to those hands and arms.
It's pretty spooky art.
It is very dark, creepy art. It's got an ominous aura, if you will.
You know,
spooky vibes.
Wave of arms does have an ominous aura.
I'm gonna say this is a blue card, or I mean, it could very well be black. Now that I say that, I'm gonna change my vote to black. Okay. This is a black card.
All right.
It is a wall because these arms look like they're a wall.
Yeah.
Maybe it's even a blue-black card. Well, no. I'm second guessing myself. I'm going to stick with black. It's a black card. It's an 04 wall, and it's called Wall of Arms. And you can pay black mana to pump its front because that's like the arms reaching out and grabbing you.
Wow. Maria, you're like very close.
Wow. Holy cow.
The name of this card is Wall of Limbs.
Holy cow. Wow. I've never been so close on a card name.
It is 2 and a black for an 03.
Jeez, I was off by 1.
Yeah. Defender, whenever you gain life.
Oh, I should have said it was a defender. I knew it was a defender. I mean, it's a wall.
Yeah. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on Wall of Limbs.
Okay.
And 5 black, sacrifice Wall of Limbs. Target player loses X life, where X is Wall of Limbs power.
Wow. I feel like my answer makes more sense, Magic, but I accept this card that you've created.
Wall of Limbs, Wall of Arms, very close.
Holy cow.
You were very, very close.
In the history of the randomizer, the name getting that close has only happened a couple of times.
This is from Magic 2015, the one and only time it has ever been printed.
Gosh, don't remember that card.
Nope.
Gotta say.
Not even a little bit.
All right, here is a card for you, Megan.
Eek, look at this.
Another creepy one.
Okay, we are seeing...
for Halloween season, it's happening.
It's very Halloween. We are seeing a man who is sitting at his desk, but he is like enveloped in an enormous puffy suit. That looks like it is kind of like a shell. It's like a shell. It's like a puffy shell suit.
Coat.
With like a little matching hat.
Cute.
And there's like some kind of spooky, like twisted blue-black like vapor or aura of some kind. And I can't tell if it is coming from his eyes or if it is attacking his eyes.
I think it's good question. I would say it's going into his eyes.
It's either going in or it's coming out. I think you're probably right. It looks like it's kind of like reaching for him. It's like reaching up and around him and then trying to attack his eyes.
Yeah.
He's sitting at a desk with a very cool candle. I want that candle. It's like 3 stacked candles, but it's one
candles. Candle. Yep, it is.
I'm going to say that this is blue. This is a blue creature. That is like a blue 1/3 that says whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, target opponent loses 1 life.
Okay. Well, to answer your question of what is this card, it is Paranoid Delusions.
Oh, you might remember it. Familiar.
It's from Gatecrash.
Yes, it's blue-black. It's a Dimir card.
It is a Dimir card. Yes, sorcery. Target player mills 3 cards.
Wow.
And then it has Cipher.
I was exceptionally wrong.
I mean,
as close as you were, I was the other way.
You got one of the colors right.
I mean, do you know what? Yeah, I did.
I've got to say something. I didn't realize this. There's Oracle text for this already because it says mill in the Oracle text. So the original card, which wasn't that long ago, says target player puts the top 3 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. They just deleted that.
Yeah.
Target player mills 3 cards.
3 cards.
Beautiful.
Great.
That is
so elegant.
Just my favorite things they've done to update the game is just change. Just make
just
will.
Say mill.
Mill is a word.
We all understood what it meant eventually.
Yeah. And Cipher. Do you remember what Cipher does?
Cipher is where you can attach this spell. You like exile this spell attached to a creature, and whenever that creature deals combat damage to a player, you copy this spell.
Very good.
Which seems cool in theory. terrible.
Its
Bad
controller
mechanic.
may cast a copy of the encoded card without paying its mana cost. So for everybody who's never played with Cypher, when it was debuted, nobody knew what it meant.
No one knew what it meant. And also, it just was not effective enough. It was not powerful enough.
It wasn't good. You never really did it.
Dimir was not a good color combination in Gatecrash.
This is the Oracle text for Cypher. Then you may exile this spell card encoded on a creature you control. Whenever that creature deals combat damage to a player, its controller may cast a copy of the encoded card without paying its mana cost.
Woof.
Encoded? What the hell does that mean? You know what I mean?
Know.
Yeah, that was a problem with Cypher.
You use the word Cypher and you use the word encoded, and like neither of those
mean anything to me.
is a word that has like a lot of meaning.
Yeah. Where mill does have a lot of meaning to Magic players. And even if you're new, if you're like, what does that mean? You understand it within 5 seconds. It means put those cards into your graveyard. You're like, okay, mill. And it kind of makes sense because it's like milling. I know it's named after millstone, but it just like, for some reason,
something about it makes
matches
sense.
The action to the word for me. Kind of like a windmill rotates or a millstone grinds. I don't know.
It goes round.
Anyway, that's some random spooky randomizer to kick off spooky season.
Yeah,
for
randomizer was like, I'm ready for spooky season.
Look, we're taking September and October and probably some of November. Deal with it.
Yes. I would prefer November be spookier, if I'm being honest.
Do you want November to be Christmas month or holiday month? Do you want it to be spooky month?
I want November to be more spooky.
Thank you.
I want the first 15 days of November to be firmly the end of spooky season.
Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah.
So September, October, first 15 days of November.
First 15 days of November.
Halloween.
All Halloween season now. You're welcome. You know you want it.
Good luck, high five. Don't say we never did anything for you.
Decorate with a turkey? No.
I already have Halloween decorations up in my house.
Yeah. I do. There's a house in my neighborhood that I run by that is already Halloween on the outside.
Great.
I like every time I run past, I'm like, good for you.
To be fair, I do have a giant skeleton banner that is up year round in my house.
Yeah. Always spooky. Do you know what? Sometimes it gets to just always be spooky season.
Yeah. That's really where I want to live. Everybody, it's time to put on our little Speedos and dive into some data for Dominaria United.
Yeah.
We want to help you get better at Limited.
Yes,
Sealed,
we do.
Draft, quick draft.
And more than I want to help you,
best of 3 draft.
I'll be honest, I need to help myself.
Traditional draft. That's what they call
really need to help me.
And also help
you.
Us help you.
Help us help you while we also help
us.
Because do you know what? My success with this draft format, I will say, we were talking about this a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
I have felt like I have done some solid drafting.
Yeah.
Because I have also played a substantial number of games where I'm still in it, despite the fact that I have drawn, I kid you not,
so many lands.
Twice as many lands as my opponent.
Yeah.
My opponent will have 6 lands on the battlefield, and I will have 12, and I'm like, why me?
Yeah, I mean, flooding in this format sucks.
Yes.
It sucks.
Which brings us back to, it is in place of a core set, and it does have more complexity than a classic core set.
Yes.
But it also has less complexity than some of the other sets that come out during the year.
100%.
And that means that there is less to do with your mana.
Yes.
Which is why when flooding happens, it is worse.
Yeah. And so I would say that bumps for me personally when I see that happening. Card draw.
Yes.
Or card selection.
Yep.
Okay. Those 2 things. And also, I've been running 16 lands and not 17.
Hot. I love it.
Well, because too, we're going to learn a couple of facts about the draft format and the speed of the format, but that will become more relevant once you know those.
There are some cards that are up there in cost, but you can certainly end up with draft decks also where you cap at 5 and you only have 2 5-drops.
Oh yeah, easy.
Yeah,
easy.
And like if I'm capping at 2 5-drops, that is the place where I want to be at 16 lands.
Yeah,
probably.
for sure. Speaking of the speed of the format, we'll just kick it off with that.
Yeah.
So that means, how fast are the games? Or do you want to be tilted more towards aggressive decks or more towards controlling decks? What is doing well? Well, it turns out that Dominaria United is a faster format.
Yeah.
So there is an average of 9.6, a little bit more than that, turns per game.
All right.
So that's slightly faster. you get a 51% win chance on the play. So being on the play is better.
Yeah.
And that is faster than the overall field of recent sets available to play on Arena. So 7 sets are faster than Dominaria United and 15 are slower.
Wow.
So it's on the faster end.
Nice.
Yeah. So aggressive decks are performing better in Dominaria United. And that is why 16 lands is going to be a little bit better and easier to play because you're just playing cheaper cards.
Yeah. Speaking of, so getting into color pairs.
Yeah.
Unsurprisingly, when we're talking about aggro decks being better, Boros is the best 2-color card combination.
Yeah. Have you been getting just slammed by people playing Boros into your face?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And if you have a plan for it, you can be okay.
Yep.
But if you don't have a stinking plan, you are dead. You're dead before you can do anything about it.
That is a doornail,
you
honestly.
Are real dead, my friend.
I'm a bit surprised by this, to be honest with you, because when you get a set that's like, oh, I'm leaning towards playing domain, playing 5 colors or whatever, multiple colors, you don't expect aggressive decks necessarily to be the ones that are really good.
But they certainly are.
Yeah. A card that is really championing that I've seen anyway is, I think, the card of, I mean, it's not going to make our top 5 of cards, common cards in the color, but it's Heroic Charge.
Yeah. Heroic Charge, absolutely.
You constantly have to be worried about it.
Yes, you do. Your opponent attacks with everything, and you're like, well, let me do the math of once all of these things have +2/+1.
Yep, Heroic Charge.
After that, now let me block as if these cards all already have +2/+1.
Because you know they do.
Because you know, they just do.
Heroic Charge, 2 white, has kicker for 1 and a red. Creatures you control get +2/+1 until end of turn. If it was kicked, they also get trample. So that's the card in case you're not familiar with it. But like, I'm just like always thinking about that card. And when I play aggressive decks, I'm always trying to draw to that card.
Yes.
So I'll block and I'll attack and I'll plan my game as if at some point during this game, I'm going to draw Heroic Charge and that will be how I win.
Yes.
So
you can also like Charismatic Vanguard has also been a very important card. Once again, not even in the top 10, I don't think, in the color. But just a very good card. You can pay 5 mana and give everything +1/+1.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's enough to spook your opponent.
It's another little Heroic Charge attached to a creature.
Exactly.
Heroic Charge on a stick is sometimes how we refer to creatures with an ability like that.
Yeah.
So Boros, number 1. It has 61.6% win rate, by the way.
Although we should mention, like, as we were looking at this data, we were also like, hey, the spread between the worst and the best is also not nearly as big as some of the spreads that we've seen recently.
Yes, especially between the top like 4 or 5 decks.
Yes.
Which in the past it's been like 1 and then it's been a huge drop off to 2.
A full percentage point or more.
Yeah.
But here, Boros is at 61.6. Celestia right behind it. At 61.4.
Nice.
And after that, Orzhov 59.3. What do those all have in common, Maria?
White cards.
The color white.
Yeah, we've been, white hasn't had its day in Magic for a hot minute.
Yes.
So here it comes.
It has recently, right, with Inspiring Overseer and Streets of New Capenna, they really cranked it hard in the other direction.
White was really bad. We better do something.
Turn this ship around.
Turn it up
180 degrees.
Yeah. Of course, I'm happy about that development. Love white cards. Orzhov is my favorite deck to play in the format for sure. I think it's just a really fun color combo, and you get access to the best removal spells. Too. So I've been having a lot of fun. I always try and play with Orzhov. Not always possible because a lot of other people
are trying to
play
do
Orzhov.
So
number 4.
Yeah. Is it?
Oh,
I love seeing Is It this high. It's kind of had a rough time recently.
It has.
But Is It is a lot of fun to play in this set.
It's always fun.
You get, as you were saying, that card draw.
Yep.
Which is so important. There's a little red card that speaking of all the white that's doing really well. There's a little red card.
Tell me about this little red card.
1 in a red. Don't even remember the name. Destroy an artifact or something dumb. Or it deals 1 damage to each creature your opponents control.
Oh, wow. I've never played that card.
Get wrecked, everybody.
Yeah,
Maria,
that's pretty good, though, in this meta.
As soon as, once you get run over a few times by tokens, I think I just,
nobody
picked
expects it.
I was at the end of it, right? It's like the last 3 cards in a pack. And I was looking at it, and then I read that card, and I was like,
maybe this is good.
I think I'm going to main deck this and just see what happens.
Wow.
And what happened was I sure did kill a lot of tokens.
Hey, if you're playing best of 3, that sounds like an A+ sideboard card to me.
Yes.
So this is
very good.
Smash to Dust.
Yes.
1 in red sorcery. Choose 1. Destroy target artifact to destroy target creature with Defender. Interesting. or 1 damage to each creature your opponents control. So it doesn't even hit your stuff.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
You can just, wrath some tokens.
That's kind of cool.
Have a good day.
After is Azorius at 58.2%.
Ooh, very tempo-y in this
yes,
format.
Huge tempo.
They're just like, play some little creatures and then essence scatter all your stuff. Good day.
I think Azorius is really fun to play as well.
Yes.
It's just you're playing like, I've played my creatures. Would you like to play creatures? Oh, sorry, they're going back to your hand.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm locking them down forever.
Also, the number of times I've just gotten absolutely roasted by Wrath and then slapped the new version of Curiosity on it.
Gross.
Yeah. And then they're just like, okay, I'm going to do this. And now I'm just going to bounce your things and I'll keep drawing cards as I attack you with this 2/4 and then all of a sudden you're dead.
It just keeps the opponent on the back foot for the whole game.
Bad time for me, nice time for them.
And they're like, I can't get out of this because I am playing, a domain 5 color deck and it's all super slow and whatever. Yeah. You just have no chance. Another super fast smashy deck is Gruul in this format.
Yeah. Do you know what? I've enjoyed playing Gruul.
Me too.
I talked last week a little bit about if you're having a hard time, just draft permanents. And Gruul is the color of just draft permanents.
Just drafting dudes.
Just draft permanents because there's plenty of reach creatures.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about taking removal for their flyers. Just draft the 4/4 reach for 4.
That shoots them in the face with domain.
Oh, that's the other. So I'm talking about the green one, Magnagoth Sentry.
Yeah.
But Maria Outrider is also an excellent permanent.
Has reach.
Same thing, 4/4 for 5 mana and slaps them in
Random
the face
reach.
when you cast it.
Gruul is a 57.8% win percentage, so still really well. We're still doing really well in our 2-color draft format rankings.
Yeah. Same with Golgari. Golgari is permanents, but get them back from the graveyard.
Yeah. And getting stuff back from the graveyard, oof, is it annoying in this set?
Yeah.
More on that
happens.
later. It happens.
It happens.
With alarming
getting stuff back from the graveyard. It
regularity.
Happens.
Rakdos is coming in at number 8 at 57%.
Yeah. I haven't played against a ton of Rakdos. We
why
talked a
isn't
little
this
bit
higher?
about the 2 uncommons that I really like. The one that makes 2/1s.
Yes.
And then then Garna, the 4/3.
Garna. Yeah, those are both really, really, really good.
Yeah. But I think the problem with red is that those uncommons are really nice.
Hand of Hate.
It lacks a little in the commons.
Yeah, I think that's what the
commons
problem
are just
is.
like a little weird.
Yeah.
Because you want to take, I feel like it has stuff with kicker and other colors that you kind of want, like Urborg Reclamation.
Yeah.
You can't, you have to splash it in Rakdos.
Yeah. Rakdos, I'm looking at the commons, are just not quite as aggressive as white's commons.
Yeah.
So I think that's the problem for black. They've got some good cards, obviously, like Phyrexian Rager, but that's not super aggressive.
Yeah.
If you get Knight of Dusk Shadow, obviously that's where you want to be. But Phyrexian Vivisector is a 2/2 with a Scribed Death Trigger, which I like that card. But in white, you for that same for 1 more mana, you get a 2/2 with Enlist and a 1/1. You know what I mean? And that's just gonna.
Or you get the 2/2 First Striker.
First Striker. It's just gonna attack a little bit better.
Yeah. It's just, I feel like it's an awkward because it can't decide if it wants to be more value-y or more aggro-y.
Yeah, because it's also got
stuck a little between the two.
The Gibbering Barricade wall situation happening and the Blight Pile wall situation.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't quite know what it wants to do, it feels like.
The 2 worst 2-color pairs are Dimir at 56.8% and Simic is falling off quite far at 55.2%.
And again, I feel like these are because blue in this format is a little bit more tempo-y.
Yeah.
It goes really nicely with white because you get those creatures, but once you try and put it in a shell that's slower,
it just doesn't have
it's not powerful in that way in this format.
I agree.
It doesn't do enough.
Because you are slow, good job.
Yeah.
You put down those walls or whatever, but then then what do you do?
Exactly. People just have too much value. You're gonna kill their stuff, they're just gonna get it back.
Yeah.
Or if you're not careful, you're just actually already dead.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
Yeah, I don't think I've even really drafted Dimir because it just the card quality is not there. If you're taking Dimir cards, I already feel like I'm losing.
I drafted it once and I was like, what am I even doing? I just lit my gems on fire.
Yes. I did have a sick one. Okay. I did have this incredible draft where I had 2 copies of Urborg Reclamation.
Oh, all right, I'm sold.
Already very good.
Sold.
And this was like a what's a green, blue, black, right? Sultai. It's like a Sultai deck.
Sultai.
So I had the blue black 1/2 uncommon that you can pay 2 mana to sacrifice it and cast an instant or sorcery from your graveyard that turn.
Yeah.
Maria,
what'd you cast?
So you pay 2 and you sacrifice it and you get back an Urborg Reclamation, and then you Urborg Reclamation that card and another creature out of your graveyard. And then when you draw a second Urborg Reclamation later, you just do it again.
Oh, I love that.
It was disgusting.
I love that.
Or you can sacrifice it and get like my removal spell back, and then later I draw the Urborg Reclamation, get that creature back, put it on to play it, and then get that Urborg Reclamation back and just do it again.
It's a vicious cycle.
That deck was disgusting. It was so good.
Urborg Reclamation, that card.
Yes.
BFF.
It's just so good.
Of course, this is a set where you can play more than 2 colors, so we wanted to give a nod to that. For 3 colors is often where people are ending up.
Yeah.
Esper is the top 3-color combo.
Yeah, at 57%. So that's at the bottom.
It's at 8th place in our
right
2
there
color.
with Rakdos.
Yeah. So not super great.
Yeah. Jessica there with 56.1.
Then
Mardu 55.9. Naya 55.4. I mean, interestingly, Naya, Sultai, and
Sultai's 55.5 at 4.
55.5. Yeah. Those are all still better than Simic, though.
Yes. Poor Simic can't even be better at 2 colors and 3 colors.
No.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Don't draft Simic, everybody.
This is a pretty bad time.
You will probably not win. And then 5 colors, a question I'm sure you have next.
Oh, yeah.
How is that doing? 55.8%.
All right.
So also
better than Simic.
better than Simic, but worse than Dimir.
Oh, yeah.
So that's probably because it is trickier to put that together, everybody. So you might be sitting there thinking, oh, I drafted an awesome domain deck or whatever. Yeah, you can totally do that. But there's going to be a lot of people who try to do that and don't do it well.
Yeah.
And that's why that ends up with a low number. So it is tricky. It is difficult. You've got to know what you're doing with your lands because you're going to lose games to mana if you're not careful.
Absolutely.
So there you go.
All right, let's talk about how to put these winning decks together.
Okay, let's do it.
By touching on the top 10 commons.
Yes, commons. Those are your meat and potatoes when you're drafting a deck, okay? Especially in this format.
Maria, I ate at Manny's Steakhouse last night.
God,
I'm really sorry.
I'm so jealous.
Anyways, I just had to hit Maria with some
some
hot steak jealousy.
With a cold steak to the face.
Yep.
First thing Monday morning.
I'm really sorry.
I want a steak so bad.
Anyways.
They're the meat and potatoes your draft format. So we could sit here and be like, oh man, did you have children? Well, yeah, you're gonna do well.
Guess what?
Okay,
you're gonna
great.
do well. You have the Archangel of Wrath.
You've done it.
Nice for you, my friend.
But commons, that's what you're going to see the most,
Yes.
and they're the most important thing to know what's good, because sometimes a mythic staring you in the face, you're like, duh, that's good.
Yes.
And also, the other thing I wanted to point out is this format I would say is definitely a pauper format. We ask, is a format Prince or Pauper?
Yeah.
Do the rares super matter or do the commons super matter? And in this format, the commons super matter.
Yeah.
And uncommons.
There are some very good rares that can really just...
There are, but
turn
there's
that thing around.
I mean, when you're playing an aggressive format and stuff, like rares matter way less.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's talk about the top 10 commons.
All right, top common, Maria. Are you ready for this?
So ready.
Shield Wall Sentinel.
Oh yes, buddy. Let's go.
4 mana, just 4 generic mana because it's an artifact creature golem for it's a 1/3. 4 mana 1/3.
Beautiful.
Top card. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a creature card with Defender, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. That, of course, is because one of the best cards in the set is an uncommon.
Yeah. Wingmantle Chaplain.
Our bird.
Our bird lord, bird god.
They make bird.
Make bird. We talked about this card on the show last week. It was coming in 3rd at overall best cards in the format, behind 2 mythic rares. Was this little 03 uncommon?
Yeah. I think it's a little far. It's like 4th or 5th now, but it's still 4th or 5th.
It's absurd.
Absolutely absurd. Next up, this one's a little surprising to me, but it goes with that kind of tempo thing. Tolarian Geyser.
Yeah, this has a game in hand win rate of 60.7%.
2 and a blue for a sorcery with kicker of white. Return target creature to its owner's hand. Draw a card. If this spell is kicked, you gain 3 life.
I mean, what more do you want?
I'm absolutely nothing.
You blow out their combat trick if they were doing something like that, or you're just playing the tempo game and sending something big back to their hand. You're drawing a card and you're gaining 3 life.
Just absolutely absurd.
Pack one,
really
pick
good.
one. Just putting it out there. I think it's worthy.
Yeah.
Pack one, pick one. By the way, we're ranking these cards. Where they come from is the site 17lands.com.
Yeah.
So if you want to look into this yourself, you can.
More like 16 lands this format, am I right?
We're looking specifically at game in hand win rate, which is the number one indicator on if you will win the game. If the card is in your hand, you will win the game. In this case, for Tolarian Geyser, 60.7% of the time.
Absurd.
Which is huge, right?
Huge.
Just bonkers. And we're talking about Premier Draft. So this is not best of 3. This is Premier Draft. Anyway, this data is based on so many games, it will boggle your mind.
Yes.
So this is very good data, everybody. Okay, that's the end of that spiel.
All right, next up, this one's surprising. Here we are, though. I mean, it's surprising on its face. If you've played against it and gotten absolutely wrecked, you get it. Take up the shield.
Yeah.
1 and a white, instant, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. I mean, please, already, I'm so mad. It stays around forever.
It's lifelink, too.
It gains lifelink and indestructible until end of turn.
Gross.
It's, again, what more do you want? It gets the counter forever.
Forever.
It's now +1/+1 into eternity.
Your removal spell that you spent 4 mana on is now useless.
Real bummer for you.
Your card wins in combat, probably.
Yes. I mean, it definitely is going to survive the combat because it gets indestructible. And you're going to gain life. You're going to you're going to swing that race in your favor because you just gained 5 life or whatever. When you attacked or blocked with this creature. Dumb. It was so dumb.
60.1% chance you win the game if that's in your hand and you in your hand, you know.
If just in your hand. If it's in your hand.
Speaking of 4 mana removal, that's coming in at number 4 is Extinguish the Light.
Yes.
60%.
2 black instant. You gotta love this card. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. If its mana value was 3 or less, you gain 3 life. Get it done.
Surprising that the second line of text there, or whatever it is, comes in more than you'd expect.
It is very handy.
Because there's a lot of really good 2 and 3 mana creatures.
Yes. And do you know what? Getting rid of them? Nice.
I wish this card exiled.
Gaining some life?
I
mean, look, Maria, don't we all?
Coming in at number 5, this one is probably the most shocking one on the list, I would say, which is Destroy Evil.
Yeah. I'm very surprised at this. That being said, I have found myself drafting it quite a bit.
Yeah. Ever since I found out, I started drafting it, and I understand why now.
Yes.
It comes in at 59.9% games in hand win percentage. And the reason is, read the card first. Sorry.
Yeah, 1 and a white, instant, choose 1, destroy target creature with toughness 4 or greater, or destroy target enchantment.
Because the 2 best enchantment-based removal spells are both white, right?
Yeah.
Blows those up.
Absolutely.
And
Citizen's Arrest? Get out of here.
If you're playing an aggressive deck and your opponent's dirtling around with 5 colors or whatever, or they're like, let me play this wall, you're like, okay, you spent all your mana to do one thing.
Yeah.
I've already got 4 creatures. I just destroy your 4/4 with reach, and then I attack your face.
Yep.
And I win the game.
2 mana. And a 2 mana.
2 mana.
For their 4 that they spent. Their 4 to 5 that they spent on their creature to try and stabilize.
Yeah. They're like, oh, phew, finally I've stabilized. And you're like, lol.
Have you. Speaking of the tempo game that we were talking about earlier, Essence Scatter is next. 6th top common, 59.6 game in hand win rate.
I can't remember the last time Essence Scatter was this high in a draft format.
No idea. I mean, look, it is a 2 mana counter spell. Exceptionally powerful.
Yep.
It gets it again is about that permanence game. It's getting those permanents.
I would say the same story too as Destroy Evil.
Yes.
You've got your 4 creatures down, you're
to their 5. Yeah. If you've dropped you've dropped creatures on 2 and 3, and then they try and stabilize by dropping something big on 4 or 5, and you're like,
no.
Or you don't.
No, and now you're dead.
Okay.
You can't win.
Whatever.
Number 7, Argivian Cavalier.
You know, I want to be like, this is surprising because this creature is so whatever on its face. But again, Once you've played against it, you're like, this is so annoying.
This is 59.5%.
2 and a white for a 2/2 with enlist. And when it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token.
It's just doing everything you want to do in a white-based deck.
Yes. It's making you more creatures.
Yep. For your pump spell that pumps your team.
It can enlist. And do you know what? I was skeptical of enlist because a lot of times, right, like training, I feel like there are a lot of mechanics when we've talked about, even just in Mark Rosewater's article a little bit ago, of like some of the most underwhelming mechanics of the last year. A lot of them are about creatures buffing up other creatures in combat.
Yeah.
It's like pretty whatever.
Yeah.
But there's like enlist, the fact that you can attack with your 2/2, tap your 5/5 serpent.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
you're like, do you know? And then you have to look at it and be like, well, I need to not take 7 right now, so I need to trade with the 7/2.
Exactly.
But then they still have that serpent back.
Yeah.
Like they still have that creature to attack with later. It's the fact it feels like getting an attack in with your biggest creature twice.
For free, kind of.
Yeah, because you block it the first time, and obviously you're gonna trade with this creature you otherwise wouldn't trade with.
Yeah. Totally.
And then they still have the big thing that they use to enlist. It's really good. And I've been way more impressed with it than I anticipated being going into this set.
That 1/3 and white 2 that
oh yes.
Banalish
Faith Bonder
with vigilance. That's it has enlist. That's kind of backbreaking because it doesn't have to tap.
No. It just attack.
Oh, so it attacks you know, as a 6/3 vigilance with the serpent buff.
Oh, man.
This one I wasn't expecting, coming in at 8 Phyrexian Espionage.
I do love this card.
59.3.
2 and a blue for a sorcery. Kicker 1 and a black. Draw 2 cards. If the spell was kicked, each opponent discards a card.
Yeah, beautiful. That's your card draw that we were talking about before. Mm-hmm. And card advantage to knock them versus them knocking them down too.
Yeah.
Our favorite, Urborg Repossession.
I can't believe that Espionage is higher than this. I'm very surprised.
I'll tell you why though. It's because it's in a grindier deck.
That's fair. Yeah.
59.1.
Urborg Repossession. Again, this is yet another card. What more do you want? Like asking for anything more than what this card gives you
is absurd.
Is bananas. You can't. Black sorcery, kicker 1 and a green. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. You gain 2 life.
Yeah.
If the spell was kicked, return another target permanent from your graveyard to your hand.
Permanent.
There are sagas in this set. Very important.
Get it back.
You just get it back.
Yeah, this card's dumb. The only reason it's not higher on this list is because it doesn't go in an aggressive deck. That's why.
Yes, exactly. That's very fair.
That's it. Because this card is really, really, really good.
Yes.
Ask
the 2 life
Sandy
that you gain,
for this for Crimbus.
You gain 2 life.
You just gain 2 life.
You gain 2 life.
And finally, at number 10, it's a classic. Just play the hits.
Lightning Strike. Do you know what? The only red card in this list, which is wild, Boros top color.
And it's got 1 red card.
1 red card. It's because you get to play all these white cards.
It's because you're leaning on white.
Yes.
White's the best color in this format.
Yep.
Pretty easy.
Green has none.
No green cards on our top 10 common list.
Wow.
0.
Wild.
I would, if you told me that the first week of this format, I would have been shocked.
Yeah.
Because here I was trying to draft 5-color domain and I need Florivian Vine Wall or whatever, right?
Although green does appear a lot in the top uncommons.
Okay. All right. That's fair. That's fair.
Just to go, we'll go very quickly through the top uncommons. First, of course, Wingmantle Chaplain.
Duh.
It make bird.
Second, Nishoba Brawler.
Yeah.
That's the star 3 trampler
card.
for 2 mana. Yeah, love that guy.
Weatherseed Treaty. This is a little surprising. This is the 2 and a green saga.
Saga, yeah.
The first chapter, you get to go get a land and put it tapped. Second is you make the seedling, and then the last one is a creature gets +X and trample.
Yeah, solid card.
Yeah, great card.
Doing a lot. Tatiova Steward of Tides is 4th.
I've gotten to play this card once,
really
and
good.
do you know what? What a party.
I mean, she's a game winner.
What a freaking
Once you get
party.
your 7th land down, she starts turning your lands into 3/3 flyers.
She's just like, do you know what? What if every turn I get to make a flyer?
Yeah, really good.
Woof. Phyrexian Missionary. This is
really
a little,
good.
this is just a little 2/3 for 1 and, is it 1 and a white? It's 2 and a white.
1 and a white.
Wow.
Because you can just play it on 2.
That's right.
As a 2/3 lifelinker, and then you kick it for a single black. And like, then you get a card back?
Yeah. You kick it for 1 and a black.
1 and a black, okay.
Which also is absurd that you're kicking this card 4 mana. You can get a 2/3 life linker and get a creature back into your hand.
Yeah, it's really good.
Really, really absurd. Micromancer.
Yeah, Micromancer.
This is the 3 and a blue 3/3 where you can go get a little spell that has CMC 1.
1. So go get your shore up.
Exactly, which is 100% of the time what you're
getting. That's what you're getting.
And you know what? It wrecks your life. It wrecks your opponent's life.
Knight of Dawn's Light is after Micromancer.
This is the 1 and a white first striker.
Ugh.
And then 1 and a white gets +1/+1.
Yeah.
You can never attack into it ever.
You can never attack into it.
Goodbye attacking.
Goodbye. You're done. Rona's Vortex, which is interesting because it's Dimir.
Yeah, this is the 1 blue, and it puts it back in their hand, or you can kick it, and it goes on the bottom of their library.
Fantastic removal spell.
Yes.
That's just the problem is, you're just not playing Dimir.
Yes, exactly. Prayer of Binding. Yeah. The first time someone cast this, I had not yet had the opportunity to draft it, and I was like, what? Flash? You're gaining life? This is busted. Get out of here.
This is an O-ring. Flash, gain life, deal their creature go bye-bye.
Their creature go goodbye.
Yep.
And Fires of Victory. I love this card.
I like this card
This is the one that deals damage to a creature equal to the number of cards in your hand, and you can kick it to draw a card.
Yeah, I like this card a lot.
It's very nice.
Solid is its card. So there you go. There's a look at your top commons and top 10 uncommons in Dominaria United. But guess what? We're not done because we're going to break it down further for you by color.
Ooh. All right, let's start it off with white, which we've already talked about being like just one of the best colors. Obviously, take up the shield, number 1, 2, destroy evil, 3, Argivian Cavalier. Those are already in the top 10.
Top 10, yeah. Incredible.
4 is Clockwork Drawbridge.
That little O3
this
tapper.
Is surprising to me. But of course, like if you're aggro,
yeah,
it's just like, hey, let me clear something out of the way for you.
Clockwork Drawbridge does the same job as Destroy Evil.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same card.
Tiny little buddy.
Corporate wants you to find the differences between these two pictures.
They're the same picture.
And number 5, Citizen's Arrest.
Yeah, that's the removal spell. Just nice, clean, exiles it for 1 white.
Really good.
Very nice.
Super cheap, gets the job done.
Yes. Top commons in blue, of course, Essence Scatter, we already talked about.
Yep.
Impulse is very surprising to me.
Card selection.
It's card selection. You see 4 cards for 1 and a blue, and it's instant speed. So I really like that this also, I think, works nicely with Essence Scatter.
Agree.
Because you can just leave up Essence Scatter. If they don't cast something, you're like, okay, I'll just impulse and find a nice card for myself.
3rd is Tallest Lookout, which is the 3/2 flyer.
Great. You're attacking in the air, and when it dies, you get a card.
You get a card.
And you don't just draw a card, you get to look at 2 and pick one, which is so good.
So much better.
You hate trading with the Tallest Lookout.
No, it just sucks.
Because do you know what? It doesn't feel like a trade.
Like,
you lost.
I lost on that trade.
Something.
I mean, you literally did.
Yes.
Tolarian Terror is 4th. That's a 5/5 Ward 2 snake serpent that costs less based on instant sorcery in graveyard.
I've seen someone cast this for single blue. What a life.
Backbreaking.
Absolutely. And of course, Shore Up.
Shore Up.
This is single blue. It gives the creature +1/+1, untaps it, and it has hexproof until end of turn.
Yeah, it's great. It's so flexible. Woof. It can be a combat trick if you want to untap and block. Mm-hmm. I mean, although who's blocking in this format?
Nobody.
Anyway.
Or it's mostly just really nice. Again,
tempo.
Like if
saves your creature.
They're killing your creature, and you're like, nope, you spent 3 mana on a Citizen's Arrest, but guess what? 1 mana. Can't do anything.
Did you know that Jordan Peele's new movie Nope is about Shore Up?
Oh yeah.
In black, Extinguish the Light, number 1. We already mentioned it. Number 2, Phyrexian Rager.
Of course, this is the 2 and a black for a 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, you lose a life and you draw a card.
Love it.
So nice. 2/2s trade with a heck of a lot in this format.
They sure do.
They trade. That Argivian Cavalier gets real big when it enlists, but do you know what? Still only got 2 toughness.
Shadow Prophecy is number 3. That's the card we love in Domain that I called Dig Through Time on our last episode.
Oh, yeah. Really nice. Instant speed.
Really, really good.
Yeah.
But the problem is Domain's just not as good in this format. So
that's true. That's why it's 3rd on this list. Eerie Soul Tender is for, let's see, it's 2 and a black for a 3/1.
Yep.
And you can pay 5 to exile it from your graveyard and get another creature back into your hand.
Yeah.
You don't want to, again, like the Tallest Lookout, you don't want to trade with this card.
No.
You don't even want to kill it. You're like, they're just going to go get the thing that I killed. I did all that work killing a good creature. And if I trade with this Soul Tender, they're just going to get it back.
Rip.
And Gibbering Barricade.
I love this card.
I love this card. This is the 2/4.
Yeah.
You can pay 2 and a black and sacrifice a creature to draw a card and gain a life.
Fabulous.
Do you know what? Does a lot of work.
I mean, if you're blocking,
Blocks
this
a
is
heck of a lot.
what you want.
Yes. Or if they like are using removal on a creature, you can just be like sacrifice it. Oh, let's get a card.
Draw a card.
Real nice.
In red, Lightning Strike, number 1.
Again, solid removal.
Solid.
Play the hits.
Mira's Outrider is number 2, and we mentioned this card before.
Yes. 4 and a red for a 4/4 with reach.
Great.
Reach. This is the most random reach application on a card that I can think of.
Yeah.
And it also, of course, has that sweet domain text. When it enters the battlefield, it deals damage to your opponent equal to the number of basic land types among lands that you control.
So it's fine if you're only a 2-color deck or whatever.
You still hit them for 2. And then there have been times when it's like, okay, you've stabilized, you've like blocked a bunch of stuff. You're like, next turn, I'm going to be okay. They play this, they put you to 2, and you're like, I can't.
Well,
you have a 4/4 now to attack with, and you dealt me 4 damage or something. Really, really impressive.
Flowstone Infusion.
Oh, yeah. Single red for an instant. A creature gets +2/-2.
I was shocked when I found out this was an instant. I thought it was an aura.
No.
No.
It fast.
It's fast.
And it, again, 2 toughness or -2 on the toughness kills a
lot of
heck
stuff.
of a lot of stuff.
Goblin Picker, it comes in at 4th, which we mentioned card selection.
And it does that job just so good. It's 1 and a red for a 2/2. You can pay red, tap it, discard a card, draw a card.
Little Goblin Rummager.
Guess what? Get rid of those lands. Chuck those lands in the bin.
Yeah.
Draw cards.
Speaking of card selection, number 5 is Thrill of Possibility.
Oh, yeah.
So you can discard to draw 2 for 1 and red at instant speed. Great.
Man, love me a format where Thrill of Possibility is good.
Absolutely. Speaking of green, a color that hasn't gotten a lot of love on many of our lists.
And do you know what? These top ones are surprising to me. Gaia's Might is the top green common. Single green. Instant,
Weird.
A creature gets +X where X is your domain.
Okay.
I mean,
Not
I've seen
even
creatures get
trample.
+5/5 with this,
Well,
which
for
is
sure,
busted.
for a single mana.
For 1 green, even like +3/3, you get a classic giant growth, which is just a nice ability. But still, just like, what?
I don't know if it's doing enough.
No. Bite Down is 2. This is a solid removal spell.
It's a bite, not a fight.
It's a bite, not a fight.
So it just deals damage to another creature based on its power point.
Yeah. Magnagoth Sentry,
The
we had talked
4/4
about.
with
4/4. Yeah. Just a 4/4 for 4 with reach. That's a heck of a wall.
Yeah, and like if they
This is a heck of a thing to just
don't
like slap
deal with it. We've been
into.
talking about dealing with it with like, the white removal or whatever.
Tolarian Geyser or
Destroy evil.
Destroy evil.
But if you don't have it, it's a great rate card.
Yes.
4/4 for 4.
absolutely.
Sunbathing Root Walla is number 4.
What a thing.
I love Sunbathing
When
Root
you're
Walla.
the one who gets to attack with it and just be like,
What are you gonna do?
You gonna block?
If you have full domain, it's a 7/7.
7/7. Even if like you're only close a 6/6.
It's fine.
And do you know what? They block and you're pumping. You're like, okay, eat your thing.
Yeah.
Or they don't block and you're like, okay, you just took a nice casual 2 and now I get to also play something else.
Yeah, it's super hard to deal with that card if it's
So good.
if it's left unchecked.
Really a strong ability.
And finally,
Floriferous Vine Wall.
the O2.
This is the O2 that looks at the
Go
top
find a
7,
land.
finds you a land.
Great
Do you know
card.
what?
Thumbs up.
Great card.
If that's what you're doing, thumbs up.
Yeah. Finally, we have the top commons multicolor, which just explains why we didn't see some of those other ones.
Sure.
Tolarian Geyser, of course. This is counting as a white-blue card, even though it's blue. You can't just cast it in blue. Phyrexian Espionage, Urborg Repossession.
Yep.
Then the 4th one I think is where it gets interesting. Keldon Strike Team.
Yeah, this card is a backbreaker.
Woof. This is the 3/1 When it enters the battlefield, you can kick it and get 1/1s
for 5 mana.
For 5 mana, and everything gets haste.
Yeah, it's really, really, really good.
Everything.
You want to kick this card, obviously.
Yes, but you know what? I've also had opponents play it on 3, and it still was just real stinking good on 3.
It'll trade with literal almost anything.
Exactly, and like just taking a sudden 3, that swings. That swings the races. And then tribute to Urborg.
That's the -2/-2, but if you kick it, it's minus whatever, based on instant sorcery in the graveyard. So
I mean, yes, it is a nice removal spell.
Very, very good.
It gets around the white trick that gives indestructible.
Yeah.
Which is really nice.
Yeah.
But again, I think it's not higher only because it's best if you're Dimir.
Yes, exactly. So these cards, while they might be technically single color, the kicker cost is really what puts them over the top, and that's why they're considered multicolor in our list. Just in case you're wondering, you're like, where was Urborg representation in your blacklist? Well, here it is. What are your thoughts on this format a couple weeks in?
Oh man, I've been having a very good time. There have been times when I've felt that frustration, like I said, of it being a core set, and it's just like
not enough to do.
The flooding hurts worse.
Yeah, it does.
And that sometimes dampens it. That being said, I've had a really fun time. I love the flexibility of drafting in this set.
Me too.
It makes it a lot of fun to draft.
Yeah, because the colors have overlap and share a lot of abilities about what they want to do. Mm-hmm. It means that you don't feel trapped in your draft.
Yes.
And there's just a lot of really interesting things. Like there's Domain you can mess around with. You can mess around with the Defender Wall deck with Wingmantle Chaplain.
Yeah, I love how easy it is to splash, especially for kickers. Like, I feel like there's so much fun flexibility.
Great fixing.
In a format where you're like, okay, I can draft this red-white card for like this red card with a white kicker into my blue-red deck.
Right.
And easily have access to that white splash without going out of my way.
Yeah.
Really? To have like the kick accessibility on that card. Kick accessibility.
I love that.
There you go.
I also really
think that's made it fun. Yeah.
Like that the signposts on commons are legendary creatures.
Yes.
And that there's 2.
Yeah.
Because I drafted a white-black deck the other day, and I had both signposts on commons in black-white, and I just was like, this is the greatest draft of my life, because I just really, for some reason, love having multicolored cards in my deck that are doing what my deck wants to do.
It's a great time.
So huge thumbs up to that idea.
Absolutely.
From Wizards. I would love to see that in more sets.
Yeah.
Love multicolor uncommons. Highly, highly raise my thumbs into the air as high as they can go. And also the rares aren't as backbreaking as some sets where in the past, if you're a newer player, there have been sets where it's like, if you didn't open a good rare card, you will just lose.
You're in trouble.
And I don't feel like that way.
When people play a Kyrian Beast Caller, I just want to leap off a cliff.
You just got to keep your lightning strike ready.
I want to throw myself off a cliff.
I feel that way about Shieldred, but
yeah,
that's a mythic.
Exactly. You just don't see it as often.
Yeah.
Boy, I've seen a lot of Beast Callers, and every time it's a bad experience.
Oh, yeah. But I give this draft format a pretty darn good grade.
I agree.
I think it's great.
It's a lot of fun.
I've been having fun. I'm not tired of it yet. I'm super excited to continue playing in these sealed events, which, by the way, do go into October.
Yeah.
There'll be another one. So really excited for that.
Yeah.
I love continuing to play sealed, like after pre-release weekend, keeping it relevant. I'm a huge sealed fan. Sometimes I feel like I like it better than draft.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, a pig playing in the mud with this set. Oink oink. Let's go.
Maria, we need to talk about how you talk about yourself.
Call me a pig in the city because I'm a babe. That was positive talk, self-talk right there.
I guess. I guess.
It's time to say thank you to Ultra Pro for being our awesome friend and giving us some sweet, sweet swag.
Right here we have just a couple. We have 4 of a literal dozen.
Yes.
1 full dozen colors of their Eclipse 2-piece deck box.
These are so cool.
I've got pumpkin orange, which is their color of the month.
Ooh.
And these are just so like they're
beautiful.
simple. but they're like beautifully
together. Like look at this.
It's just like a lovely rainbow.
Look at this gorgeous rainbow we've created.
It's in their Eclipse like color line. It's this little 2-piece deck box. They pull apart great. They store your deck up to 100 double sleeve cards.
Yeah.
They're real nice.
They come in every color under the sun.
Every stinking color.
Imagine if you had your commander decks in here, by the way, and you just line them up by color to create a beautiful commander rainbow.
What about it? You can get matching sleeves in the same Eclipse color
right now.
Come on.
Ultra Pro, if you want 5% off on your order, use the code GLHF at checkout.
5% off.
5% off.
You can get your butt a bunch of these and the matching sleeves and make your deck beautiful.
Yeah, we highly recommend them. This is just gorge. Why not? Why store your magic in something that's not gorge when it could be gorge?
Exactly. Ultra Pro.
Well, everybody, that's this episode of Good Luck High Five.
Whoa.
Give yourself a high five for hanging out with us this week. You know?
How about it?
Because you took some time to have a good time in your life. Hashtag self-care.
Yeah.
You can be listening to podcasts.
Do you know what?
I believe
or
it.
Maybe you're driving somewhere. Maybe you're like me, you're stuck on the side of a Missouri cornfield for 4 hours while you wait for a tow truck. That's a real thing that happened in my life recently. And wow, was it bad.
At least you had access to a lot of food.
It's true.
Raw corn. Raw uncooked corn.
Everyone's favorite. Do you know what was really spooky? Traveling with my family's dog. The dog would not go near the corn as if he knew something.
Oh,
Maria,
the children are in there.
It was as if he knew something. Dog looked at that cornfield and was like,
creepy.
Absolutely not. Not even close. Would not get within 10 feet of the thing. So I'm just going to leave you with that fact about cornfields.
Watch out for the children. Enjoy the raw corn.
Thank you so much to our sponsors, Card Kingdom and Ultra Pro. Thank you as well so much to everyone who is a patron.
Yeah.
Consider becoming one, getting a shout out on our next show, and just becoming a part of a really wonderful patron community.
You can do that over on patreon.com/GLHF Magic. Only takes a couple of minutes. And you'll just feel great about yourself for the rest of the day, maybe even the week.
Consider that.
Yeah. I mean, if you haven't gotten that boost in your life from a diet of pure raw corn, consider becoming a patron.
Oh, man. Oh, wow.